Today topic of discussion is adipose tissue metabolism. Where is this adipose tissue found? It is largely found in the subcutaneous region. Okay, it is largely found in subcutaneous region under the skin, and that comprises of 80% of body weight. Okay, it comprises 80% of body weight. The adipose tissue around digestive organ like stomach and intestine, including kidney, comprises 20% of body weight. Under skin 80%, under digestive system and kidney 20%. So it is found in all over the body. Next one is, what are the component of adipose tissue? Adipose tissue comprises lipid storing adipose cell and vascular component, which include pre-adipocytes and macrophages. Adipose tissue have a loose network of elastin and collagen fiber. Adipose tissue comprises of lipid storing adipose cell and vascular component. This vascular component, okay, it containing free adipocytes and macrophages, which included free adipocytes and macrophages. It is a loose network of elastin and collagen fiber. Let's see the functions of adipose tissue. What are the important functions of adipose tissue? It is the major food source of body. They provided mechanical support. They do an endocrine function. That means it regulate metabolism. Then they provided cushioning effect to the internal organ, and also function of insulator of our body. It acts as a insulator of our body. These are the important functions of adipose tissue. What are the types of adipose tissue? There are two types of adipose tissue found in mammals. First one is white adipose tissue. Second one is brown adipose tissue. This one is the white adipose tissue is the most common, and it have that above function. What are the function? It is the major food source of body, provided mechanical support, then it regulate metabolism, then it provided cushioning effect to the internal organ, and also it acts as a insulator of human body. These are the functions done by white adipose tissue. Second one is brown adipose tissue, which appear brown because of large number of mitochondria found in them. Why this one have brown color? Means large number of mitochondria found in them, and mainly found in children. This one mainly found in children and very extended in adult. That main function generating heat rather than energy. Brown adipose tissue main function is generating heat. This one mainly found in children, so generating heat rather than energy. These are the two type of adipose tissue found in mammals. Moving on to metabolism of adipose tissue, it regulate metabolism in health and diseases. The function to store fat majorly in time of excess energy availability and break down fat when energy is required. This metabolism of adipose tissue under two broad heading. First one is carbohydrate metabolism in adipose tissue. Second one, fat metabolism in adipose tissue. What happen in carbohydrate metabolism? Firstly, that carbohydrate metabolism, three events occur in absorptive state regarding glucose in adipose tissue. Firstly, under the influence of insulin, which is elevated in an post-absorptive state, that is after you have eaten food, glucose enter adipose tissue via insulin sensitive receptor name is GLUT4. Okay, this one is the insulin sensitive receptor. Insulin activate GLUT4 receptor. So insulin activate this GLUT4 receptor. This glucose which has entered adipose tissue now is converted to glucose 6-phosphate. This glucose entered to adipose tissue. This one is converted into glucose 6-phosphate by the enzyme hexokinase. This conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate in any cell is meant to trap the glucose inside to the cell. Second event because of this glucose enter is the increased breakdown of glucose, which is known as glycolysis. Second process name is called as glycolysis. In this glycolysis process, which otherwise serve to provide energy in the body. In adipose tissue, the purpose is slightly different. One of the intermediate of glycolysis, glycerol 3-phosphate, is essential in synthesizing triacylglycerol, or which we call as fat. The third event because of increased supply of glucose, there is an upregulation of hexose monophosphate stent, or which is also known as pentose phosphate pathway, and an increases in this pathway increase the supply of reducing equivalent in NADPH, which is essential for synthesizing fatty acid by the process of de novo synthesis of fatty acid. Insulin, it will enter to adipose tissue in the form of glucose. It will enter to adipose tissue. That receptor GLUT4, it will converted into glucose 6-phosphate. In glycolysis, it will converted into glycerol 3-phosphate, then it will converted into triacylglycerol synthesis. Okay, it will essential for this one is essential for synthesizing triacylglycerol synthesis. Next one is that HMP stent. This one increased supply of NADPH. This one is essential for synthesis of fatty acid. Well-fed state or post-absorptive state after we consuming and digestive meal, glucose and amino acid transported intestine to blood. The dietary lipid are packaged into chylomicron and transported to the blood by lymphatic system. So the summary is well-fed state largely under the influence of insulin, the adipose tissue take up more and more of glucose. This synthesize fatty acid and they build triacylglycerol which get stored there. Let's move to fat metabolism in adipose tissue. It can be studied under two broad conditions: well-fed state and starvation. In the well-fed state, the triacylglycerol is the food that we eat and which is packaged in chylomicron in the intestine is derived to adipose tissue. In the well-fed state or liver which also synthesize triacylglycerol and which is packaged in VLDL, and also supplies this endogenous triacylglycerol to adipose tissue, which may be noted here that chylomicron and VLDL are both lipoprotein also in a well-fed state, since all the raw material is available for adipose tissue. There is an increased synthesis of triacylglycerol, which is called as lipogenesis. In the starvation state, when the body need energy, the triacylglycerol in adipose tissue is breakdown by the process of lipolysis, which provided ultimately energy to the body. So fat metabolism in well-fed state is an anabolic process. There is building up of fat which is stored in adipose tissue, and during the starvation state it is catabolic effect, where the fat that is stored in broke down as the body need energy. It is a well-fed state is the anabolic process. This one starvation state is the catabolic process. This process of well-fed state, the insulin level is increases, and under the influence of this high insulin level, an enzyme lipoprotein lipase gets activated. This enzyme lipoprotein lipase is an interesting extracellular enzyme which is found in the outside of adipose tissue, where it is presented outside of adipose tissue, and because of this its nature of breaking down of lipid, it helps in transporting triacylglycerol from both chylomicron and VLDL into adipose cell. Under the influence of insulin, again lipogenesis or synthesis of fat is upregulated in a starvation state, where hormone like glucagon and epinephrine are high in quantity. The activation of key regulator enzyme hormone sensitive lipase happen, and this hormone sensitive lipase is essential for the process of breakdown of triacylglycerol or lipolysis. Summary: insulin level are high in well-fed state when we have eaten food. Glucagon, epinephrine, these hormones are high when we are starvation state. Under this influence of this insulin, the triacylglycerol from chylomicron and VLDL is taken up by the adipose tissue, and this happened by activation of important enzyme lipoprotein lipase. In starvation state, we need to break the fat or lipolysis, and a crucial enzyme there is lipoprotein lipase, which get activated under the influence of glucagon and epinephrine. Patient with type 2 diabetic mellitus are usually dyslipidemic, that is the lipid value go high, where even when the glycemic control is relatively good, the high level of insulin and insulin resistant which are associated with type 2 diabetic mellitus. They have two effect on fat metabolism. In adipose tissue, increased lipolysis occur in diabetic mellitus. The fat is breakdown and resulting high level of free fatty acid. It have high level of free fatty acid. In blood, on the other hand, there is decreased LPL activity, which result in decreased catabolism of chylomicron and VLDL, which means chylomicron and VLDL are unable to load the triacylglycerol into adipose tissue and their level are high in the blood. This result in the dyslipidemic picture which we seen in diabetic mellitus. So last one is the endocrine functions of adipose tissue. Adipose tissue secreted a host of small molecules. They act as like a hormone. They can called adipokines. Okay, they act as a hormone. They called adipokines. Of these adipokines, we shall see the two important one. First one is leptin, second one is adiponectin. This leptin has been seen to decrease appetite. It increases the metabolic rate of the body and resistance to lipidine has been associated with obesity. Second one is adiponectin. It is a polypeptide, increases fatty acid uptake in muscles and liver. It has also been seen to increase insulin sensitivity and the level of adiponectin decreases with decrease in body weight. So endocrine functions of adipose tissue. Adipose tissue metabolism, it is present under the skin and digestive system, kidney. Then what are the component? Adipose cell and vascular component. It included free adipocytes and macrophages. Then function. Then types: white adipose tissue and brown adipose tissue. Metabolism of adipose tissue. First one is carbohydrate metabolism. 3 event: insulin, increased level of insulin, glycolysis and HMP stent. Then well-fed state. Then fat metabolism in adipose tissue. Anabolic reaction, catabolic reaction. Starvation, diabetic condition. Then last one is endocrine functions of adipose tissue. Thanks for watching.